You know what else is looking real empty? RFK Jr.'s head. So, he had an interview recently about vaccines, and I think you need to watch it.
You mentioned the COVID vaccine. What was the last vaccine you yourself had?
I took a lot of flu shots up until probably the mid-1990s.
God, he looks like he struggles to exist. He looks like he struggles to exist. He's such a sad individual.
I was getting a flu shot every year.
Why'd you stop?
Well, I actually stopped in 2005 when I began looking at the side effects. And actually, you know, I was litigating against I was preparing litigation against...
Said Suris, Pernia is here. Yes, I know, Pernia's here. Hi, Pernia. You still need to tell me how much more money I owe you for the project, for the Magic the Gathering channel. Thanks, Pernia. You didn't respond in the chat when I asked before, so I'm doing it here. Hi, hello. Also, your artwork's amazing, and I have a playmat of your artwork because your artwork's great, and I'm not trying to glaze you. I just recognize that there's a reason that I've commissioned you as much as I have. It's called executive dysfunction. I understand. That's why I'm reminding you in the way that I think I can. So no God, not more vaccine shit? Yeah, that is what it is.
I was preparing litigation against some of the flu shots several years ago. And
it's called executive dysfunction. Me. It's called I've handed you $250. How much more do I owe you? Please tell me.
Oh, and one of the injuries that was listed on a lot of them was spasmodic dystonia. Mm-hmm. Which is an injury I have to my voice. That's why my voice is so screwed up. And that turns out to be a vaccine injury. Do I know that it was caused by my annual flu shot? I have no idea.
Do you suspect it was?
Yeah, it's a possibility. It's a potential culprit that I cannot rule out. So, you know, but I can't prove it.
Okay.
And I'd like to know. We should have that data, but we don't.
So... let me get this straight. You believe that it caused it, but you have no data to back it up at all. And this is the guy in charge of our health. The guy who on camera will tell you, actually, my voice could have been caused by a vaccine. We don't have any data that supports that, but you don't know if it could be true. No. Fucking idiot. Anywho, RFK's assertion that his voice condition is linked to the flu shot is not based in science. Wow, who would have thought? Who would have fucking thought? Longtime vaccine skeptic and U.S. Secretary of Health and Human Services Robert F. Kennedy Jr. reportedly believes that routine influenza vaccines may have triggered his spasmodic dysphonia, a neurological condition that affects the vocal cords and a person's ability to speak. But the claim, made in a wide-ranging recent video with USA Today, is unsupported by evidence. Yeah, he said in the actual clip he didn't have any data, and that he still thought that. Oh my God. This is the guy who goes that the autistic kids need to be put in a camp. No. This man needs a swirly. This man needs to have had his head crammed in more lockers. I'm pretty sure we have documentation he has throat cancer or esophageal cancer, and that's why his voice is like that. That is the first I've heard about that. Yeah, I've never heard that claim ever once ever. That is the first time that has come into my brain. What? Lasser says, has bullying not gone far enough? Not in his case. Absolutely not. No, this is a man who needs to be bullied more. Because obviously it didn't do any work because he's not been humbled. But I know Alex Jones has had esophageal cancer, said he sounded like that for well more than a decade. Yeah, it's just been kind of how he is. But here's the thing, there are people who I believe should be bullied, and they are eugenicists and losers respectively. And I believe that as he is both of those things, because only a eugenicist would want to throw autistic people in camps, I believe that he should be bullied. Lady says, I think his voice impediment is a genetic thing since the direct family members have it. Anywho, Kennedy told the outlet that he stopped getting his annual flu shot in 2005, and then he said spasmodic dystonia is why my voice is so screwed up. He says that the vaccine's a potential culprit that I can't rule out. but I can't prove it. And then he says that we don't have the data on it. The comments are, one more assault on vaccine competence, says Robert Hopkins, a medical director of the National Foundation of Infectious Diseases. We do not have any known linkage between flu vaccines and voice disorders like this. The exact causes of spasmodic dysphonia are unclear. Experts suspect different brain areas may be involved and that the condition may have genetic components. The Dystonia Medical Research Foundation, meanwhile, says there is no evidence that vaccines cause the condition. In contrast, preliminary research suggests certain vaccinations may actually be protective against certain forms of dystonia. An analysis of several common flu vaccine brands by MedPage Today found that only one, Fluval, has dysphonia even listed as a potential side effect. And that vaccine was approved for its use in 2006, after Kennedy already stopped getting the fucking shot! He already stopped getting the shot! When the one that has it listed as one of its side effects existed. There is no world. Also, Aaron has sent me a DM, and I think you all should see it. Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what my nephew's freaking problem is. Oh my god, this is the guy who's in charge of our health in the United States. Oh my god. It was funny. What's really funny is a Twitter user that pointed out that spasmodic dysphonia is a neurological voice disorder. This is an AI synopsis, by the way, so don't trust any fucking thing it says. It lies. Spasmodic dysphonia is the exact cause is unknown, but it's caused by faulty brain signals. And do you know what could cause faulty brain signals? A fucking worm. A fucking worm. Guys, would you like to know which politician in the United States right now had a brain worm? Well, I can tell you. I can tell you right now, it was, in fact, RFK Jr. A worm got into his brain, ate a portion of it, and then it died. So, I'm just gonna go ahead and say this right now. I think it's really funny that there was so little sustenance in his brain that a worm was able to die due to lack of nutrients. Just throwing that out there. The worm starved going into his brain, but apparently it hit enough that it could have caused dysphonia. That is a thing that could have happened. And if he got the worm after the dysphonia, why should I care? RFK Jr. obviously doesn't care about dates when it comes to data or research or lying. I should use the exact same methods and the exact same standards of evidence that the guy in charge of healthcare in the United States is using. You know, should be great. Listing dysphonia as a possible side effect of that vaccine means that there was at least one voice disorder during clinical trials. It isn't proof that dysphonia is linked to the vaccine. Kennedy's comments have come amid a particularly severe flu season in the U.S. So far, in the 2025-2026 season, the U.S. Center for Disease Control estimates the virus has caused at least 18 million illnesses and 9,300 deaths, including at least 32 children. Man, hold on. There's no way. There's no way. So annually, influenza. Let's go ahead and see what the flu deaths per year are for influenza. So our worst years were 2012, 2015, 2018. Notably, during Trump's presidency, it looks like it started off lower and then proceeded to rise, and then it shot down with COVID. 2021 had the least flu-related anythings because people just weren't going fucking outside for so long. And then we've steadily climbed back up. Now, this doesn't seem to be a trend where we have significantly more of this happening, but 45,000 infections last year versus today, 18 million? That doesn't seem right. Oh, number of deaths, 45,000. 45,000 deaths across in the United States in 2004 and 25. And we're at 9,300 deaths so far. And we're not even halfway through the year. Woo! The guy in charge of disease management eats roadkill. Yep. And this is the brain sucker joke from the early aughts. It is. It is. Guys, aren't you so happy that he's the guy in charge of health in the United States? Doesn't that just make you so proud? Doesn't that make you think that anybody at all could have that job? It could even be you. You could be in charge of that. You could literally run for something right now, and then run for that position in the future. It's a thing you could do. Because all he did was fail to become president and then ask to be part of the cabinet for Trump. That's all he did, and that got him the position. Anybody can do that. As evidenced by the fact that he did it. I don't know if we need more competent people leading the United States. I want to say we do, but I feel like there's an argument to be made that competency or not, damn near anybody would be better in some of the positions we have right now than the people who are currently in. Like RFK. So the only thing that I run for is the bathroom. Yeah, that's because you have IBS. Otherwise known as IB shittin'. Said Trump probably gave him the position as a bribe to drop out. He was trying to get a position with Harris and a position with Trump at the same time, so who knows? So it's like we're living on a satirical comic strip? Yeah, that is how it feels. Anywho, now that I'm thoroughly depressed, I'm gonna go ahead and end that. Hey, you made it to the end. I want to give an extra thanks to the patrons who allow me to do this full time. I want to thank Aaron Rail, Astral, Britzkrieg, Jemshin, Poundini, Red Joker, Victoria, Jonas, Craig, Tarika, Fireshard, Smiling GM, John, Dren Hadamada, Creeper, Sagitta, you know I'm not saying that last part, Sylvie Snow, Valis of Seraph, Ottoman Angel, Rooster Rachel, and Fire Panda, who are all my $20 and up patrons.